Today we're going to be talking about 5 mistakes that beginner wide receivers need to avoid. Now, the first mistake that a lot of beginner wide receivers make is that when they cut, they will strike the ground with their heel first and then their toe will slap down. So the issue with that is that can cause a hyperextension of your leg. You obviously don't have much speed when you're on your heels, and that could lead to a lot of injuries in your knee. Because guys, like when you're running routes, like let's say I'm running just a simple post route. Obviously what I'm trying to make the DB think is that I'm running past him. I want him to think that I'm running a go ball, a fade ball. I want him to backpedal, turn and open up. So while I'm doing that, I'm running at a high speed, right? And if I cut on my heel at a high speed, my toe slaps down and I hyperextend, that's a great way to injure my knee, my ACL, my MCL, your meniscus, all that stuff there. So where we want to ultimately cut is we want to strike the ground on the ball of my foot first. Now, if wide receivers are running with that kind of speed and they cut and their heel never touches the ground, you're not going to have any strength. You're going to drift. You're not going to be able to drive out of the cut. You want to get your whole foot down, but the first part of the foot to strike is going to be the ball of your foot, then your heel can touch. But when your weight's on the ball of your foot, you actually can absorb that force. You have a little bit of a knee bend, and you can actually push off that ball to get you more speed out of your cuts. Now, before we get into the second mistake that wide receivers will make, you guys, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to train with us this off season, we just added 3 more states to our 2025 quarterback and wide receiver camp tour. We're going to be coming out to San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida, and Phoenix, Arizona. So if you guys are local to one of those 3 cities and you would like to train with myself, my staff of coaches, check out that very first link in the description below. It's where you can get early access. Those camps are at the end of 2024 and beginning of 2025. So we're already taking signups because all of our camps this past year sold out within 2 months of releasing. So guys, if you want to attend, check out again that very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, the second mistake that beginner wide receivers need to avoid is changing their stride frequency. So what do I mean by frequency? By frequency, I mean keeping it the same from the start of the route to the top of the route. Your strides, your body language, your speed, everything needs to stay the same to be able to sell a go route and get that DB to backpedal or open up. So let's say, for example, let's use that post route again. If I come off the ball and I got these real long, like sprinter type strides, normal strides, but right before the break, I start to change up my strides because I'm preparing for the cut. Maybe as a wide receiver, you're not as confident in the cut. Maybe you're worried about cutting off of one foot or dropping your hips while running full speed. That change in that stride frequency tells that DB that a break is coming. So what I would want you to practice as a wide receiver is run routes off of steps. So for example, let's say it's a 3-step slant. My left foot's up, quarterback is to the left. I want to go 1, 2, 3 and cut right off of my 3rd step. I don't want to put a cone there. I don't want to be looking at yardage. I want to practice cutting off of steps. Let's say it's a post route. I want to break off of my 3rd outside step. So this would be my inside foot. It's closest to the quarterback, but the outside foot, it's away from the quarterback, furthest foot away from the QB. I'm only going to count the steps that I take with my outside foot. So this would be like a 5-step post route. So I come off, that's 1, I don't count that, 2, don't count that, 3, and I break. So I can work on that stride frequency, having that step count in my head, which will translate to on-field routes and me not changing up that stride frequency. Now, mistake number 3 that wide receivers will make, especially beginner wide receivers, is not blocking when they get on the field. Guys, if you're not blocking for your offense, you are taking yourself out of at least 20% of your offense. Now, a lot of offense, especially at like a freshman level, beginner level, middle school level, whatever level that you play at besides maybe college ball, the run game is a huge part of what you are doing because maybe the offensive line isn't as talented, the pass pro can't hold as long. So you might have an offense that's 50% pass, 50% run. That's a pretty balanced offense, but if you don't block, you're taking yourself out of 50% of the plays. So there are 3 things you want to focus on as a receiver to improve your blocking. So even if you're a smaller wide receiver, when you have a DB to block, a lot of guys get over anxious. They'll come out, they try to get this highlight, they run super fast, and that DB gives a quick move and they run right by. So first things first, you have to approach that DB under control. Now, second thing that you want to do is keep your feet active. A lot of guys will be under control, but their feet are dead, and it's just like a DB when he's guarding us in press. If his feet are dead and we give him a move, he's gone, he's done. So we got to make sure that we keep my feet active. I approach him under control, and then when I get hands on him to block, I am driving from my hips and I am keeping my feet, again, active in a wider base position. So if you could focus on those 3 things while blocking, you guys, you'll be a much bigger asset to your team. Now, the next mistake that wide receivers will make, especially beginner wide receivers, on a deep ball, over the shoulder pass, is showing their hands too early. So if I got a DB who's right on my hip, let's say I'm running a fade route, give him a move, he's trailing with me right here, and that ball is thrown over the top and I'm running, that DB has no idea when that ball is going to drop unless I let him know when that ball is going to drop. So if I'm running and I start to show my hands like this, that DB knows exactly when he sees that ball, he knows where to punch his hands through and knock this thing out. So guys, you have to trust your eyes. You want to keep your arms pumping not only is that'll help you catch up to like a deeper pass that's maybe overthrown, but it'll help you not have that DB know where the ball is. You can catch this thing about chest level, tuck it away, and we'll be more consistent with that deep pass over the shoulder. Now, the next mistake that beginner wide receivers will make is avoiding playing multiple positions. So guys, as a wide receiver, if you're at a school that maybe doesn't have a lot of DBs, doesn't have a lot of safeties, doesn't have a lot of guys that are wanting to play special teams, you need to be that guy as a wide receiver, because I'm assuming if you're watching this, you probably are pretty serious about the receiver position. You want to get better. Maybe you want to play in college, whatever the level is, D1, D2, D3, you just want to go play somewhere after high school. Maybe you want to play in high school. Coaches love athletes. They love people who can make plays all over the field. The top recruited athletes every single year are always labeled ATH as an athlete. Look at a guy like Travis Hunter at the college level. He's dominating on both sides of the ball. Coaches love players like that. So if you're a receiver and you have the opportunity to play DB, even if that's not your primary position, take the opportunity, because it's just more opportunities for you to make plays. If you want to play special teams, return kicks, return punts, take the opportunity. Like I said, the more plays that you make, the more plays that you can have on film to showcase to a college coach, because your film is what ultimately gets you recruited. So do not avoid playing multiple spots.